Hi everybody, we're here at Juice Capital headquarters in Ultimo. I'm here with Lucas Sadler. We're really excited with a really fantastic product that we're about to introduce to you guys. It's going to help you save customers money in the solar game, save on energy costs. And there's not a lot of people running around with this product, so again, we're super excited. My name's Jay Howard, I'm the CEO of Juice Capital. It is a new organisation, but we're part of a really big network. The business is part owned by Solar Juice. If you don't know Solar Juice is the largest wholesaler of solar equipment in Australia. So we've partnered up with them to deliver a pretty unique product, which is called a power agreement, power purchase agreement. For you guys out there, you've probably heard that term bandied around. The time is right to utilise a unique product to take down to the network to help your customers save money. It is a solar product, but it's actually all about helping your customers save money on their energy bills, and we can certainly do that for them. A little bit of background on myself. I've been involved in creating finance products for sales teams and for product companies for over 20 years now. So we train sales teams up to utilise finance so that they can sell more. It's pretty simple really, and this latest product, the power purchase agreement for commercial customers all around Australia, is an absolute cracker. We're writing business today, and now what we're looking for is absolute expert consultants and sales and marketing companies to take our product down into the network and evangelise that you don't need to pay cash for solar. You can utilise a product with instant savings. An example would be a customer might be paying 20 cents for their electricity today. We can come in, energy at 12 cents in the daytime, produce instant savings for them. So I want to talk a little bit about our marketplace. It's a fantastic marketplace. One thing that we've learned, Lucas, over the years is that what you want to do is you want to operate in a market that's booming and you want to have a product that sells. We have both of those things. The commercial solar market is not about to take off. As we speak, all areas of the commercial solar marketplace are taking off. People are looking for differentiation and product to help them grow their businesses. I'm just going to show a couple of slides quickly from one of the leading independent solar analysts in the country. And I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I want to show you a few pictures. Because what the pictures show you is the good old hockey stick. You know the hockey stick? The hockey stick is where we want to be. We want to be at the front of the hockey stick. The commercial market is broken up into a couple of different sections. Typically, we talk about sub 100 kilowatt, where the STCs are, and over 100 kilowatt, where we play in the LGC marketplace. We play in all of that area. Don't worry whether it's small or large, our PPA product can play. 10 to 30, 30 to 100, all the way up to utility scale. This guy, greater than 100 kilowatt grid connect over the next couple of years. These three lines here are high, medium, and low forecasts. So if we just go to the medium forecast, we're on a pretty good hockey stick as far as growth goes. Even when we get to off-grid and power stations, same thing is happening. It's where the market is going. You're going to run into off-grid deals. You're going to run into people that have had enough of being tied to the electricity providers. With our PPA product, we can help support you to sell solar. So there's just a little bit of a snapshot on the market. Again, I know I haven't gone into too much detail, but the beauty is this is where we're playing, folks. Guys, right here. We're in a booming marketplace. Okay, so let's take a couple of minutes to talk about these SPPAs, Solar Power Purchase Agreements. I often don't like starting with a negative, and I suppose it's not really a negative, but we need to be clear that this product is not necessarily ideal for everybody. For those customers that are paying 6 or 7 cents for their electricity now, this product is probably not going to suit. The beauty of the product is it's an opportunity to have an entirely fresh conversation with your customers. We're not sitting there talking about panels and inverters and wiring, etc. We're talking about helping them save money on their electricity bill. So with a power agreement, Juice Capital owns the system, and the customer agrees to buy that energy from the system at a fixed price, typically over a longer term, somewhere between 10 and 20 years. It is a genuine hedge against their electricity prices. We will fix the price in, so they will know that no matter what happens moving forward, that they're going to pay that 11 cents, or are they going to pay that 15 cents fixed for the term of the agreement? Some other typical characteristics of the PPA product are, we own the system, so we look after it entirely. We look after the maintenance. It's fully insured. All the billing and collecting is done by ourselves. They actually don't have any hassles or any worries. All they have is an opportunity to have cheaper electricity fixed over time. As the owner of that asset, of that system, it is entirely in our interest to make sure that it's working very, very well, because that's where we're generating our revenue from. If the system's not working or not producing well, or if it goes down, that's entirely not in our interest. So we build systems strong to last for the long term, because that's what our investors and that's what our business actually requires. Let's talk about the whole environmental factor for a sec. We've got organisations that are saying, oh gee whiz, I might pay cash for this 99 kilowatt system. I've got all these other sites as well, and they're grappling with the proposition of utilising their own money. We can go to them and say, how many sites do you have? You got 20 sites, you don't need to spend a cent, there's no money down, they don't need to put a deposit down. We will fund the entire platform for them and give them energy savings under the power agreement. Again, for large users that are paying 8 or 9 or 6 cents already, it may not suit. But our job as energy consultants is to make sure that we prospect correctly, so that when we sit down with a customer, the chances are the proposition is right for them. The beauty of the larger rollout is for these organisations, they're actually making quite a statement. They are making a statement of corporate responsibility, and that they are here to support the environment. For some larger organisations, they may even have carbon emission targets that they need to meet. So this is the way of not spending a cent, but meeting certain targets. It's an absolute win-win for plenty of customers. As far as targeting with this product goes, the greater the average peak sun hours in a day, the more appropriate the product. So down in the Victorian area, not saying it's not a product down in Victoria, it is, but in the 3.6 and 3.8 sun hour territories, the proposition is not necessarily quite as strong as it is when you get up north, or when you go into Western New South Wales, where sunlight hours, peak sun hours, may be up around the 4.7, 4.8 mark, somewhere around there. Obviously different for different sites, and different for different postcodes, different geographies. So again, all of the performance risk, the ownership risk, sits entirely with us, and our customers just agree to buy electricity at a fixed price, to hedge their electricity prices. With some sites, we may also be able to assist. There are a bunch of other mechanisms for achieving savings. There are some instances where our energy consultants will be able to help change their demand profiles. So there's extra savings that could potentially be made by decreasing demand profiles and getting your customers onto certain tariffs. May be able to improve power factor, phase balancing, reduction of heat load and flow. So there are a bunch of other benefits that come along with large-scale solar implementation as well. Okay, so just to try and cut through and summarise the benefits there of the PPA product. Firstly, the product is exceptionally simple and flexible. We can do deals quickly, get the credit checks going, and get the systems on the roofs quickly. None of this waiting around for 6 months to get installers in and get the funding set. We can move quickly, which is good for everybody. Secondly, instant savings. We're talking about providing instant savings. The moment that system's on the roof, they're going to go from 20 cents to 12 for their daytime energy, and they don't have to put $1 down. We look after the whole thing. A lot of businesses nowadays are talking about risk minimisation. Well, they always have. This is a low risk proposition. We look after it, we sell the energy at a cheaper rate. A nice little add-on to the product is that everything's transparent. Everything is monitored. We need that for the billing. The beauty there is, when your customers come, all the monitoring's there on the screens. If you want to be able to present to your customers or present to their markets that you're doing the right thing, or to your staff, it's all there because of the way technology's gone nowadays with monitoring, etc. I mentioned zero cost, huge benefit. interesting buying patterns. If you talk about the way people buy, supply, whatever it is for their businesses, people are used to buying this way. They're leasing, they're renting their cars. Their photocopy model, buying cost per print. It's a similar type of model. They're just paying per kilowatt hour. Okay. Again, to finish off, it is another opportunity. It's an opportunity to have a very different discussion with your customer. Solar is the product. The actual proposition is cheaper energy from day one with minimal risk. We often get asked the question, yeah, but what if I sell my building? Or what if I'm not in business anymore? Really simple solutions for that. The customer can pay it out in our contracts. It's just a very clear payout schedule, so they can see from day one. So they basically try before you buy. And then if they want to buy the system at a later date for whatever reason, because circumstances change, that can be done. So it can be paid out, or the new property owner or the new customer, the new tenant, can take that contract over. This is all very normal stuff and simple to execute. And of course, to finish off, there are huge environmental benefits, as we know, to solar, clearly, and you're certainly demonstrating corporate responsibility, which at the end of the day is a good financial decision. Okay, everyone, this section is about how to actually do a deal and what you need to do a deal. The first thing is you need to figure out whether there's a PPA type deal there for you as it is now. Your concierge desk is going to be utilising our PPA tool that we've created, which is a glorified spreadsheet, but it has all the important inputs to be able to establish whether there's a deal there or not. So I'm going to talk through this just quickly. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because it's going to be done at the concierge desk. But I'll run through this and then we'll talk about what you need to do when you're talking to your customer. A bit more work on the bills. Basically, there's some key inputs in this. Term, 15 years, 10 years, 20 years. And this calculator puts out the actual price that you can go to your customers with. What's the size of the system? What's the average production? Now, as we mentioned earlier, if you're way up northern Australia or if you're in Victoria, there's going to be different sunlight hours. So that's an important number that will go in there. But at the end of the day, these inputs are simple solar inputs that tell us the production of the system, the proposed system, and then tell us what the end PPA price is going to be. A key input, which we are going to need your help with because you're talking to the customer and you get it off the electricity bills, is what is their average daytime cost of energy? Why is that important? Well, it's really important because that's what we're comparing to. We call it the offset energy rate. Now, when you look at an electricity bill, it doesn't just stare you in the face. Sometimes it does because they've got one rate for all consumption in ergon territory. That happens sometimes. But the majority of bills you see will have peak, off-peak, shoulder. And what we do is we take that information and we create an average daytime spend. Then what the calculator does is it compares their current world to the new world that they're going into with the Juice Capital PPA. The more accurate this information is, the more accurate this is, the closer we are to sending an executable proposal to your customers. So we're working very close with the concierge desk to get the data as clean as we can so that we can produce the final executable solar PPA proposal. Your role as the consultant, or the energy consultant, is to find the sweet spot. What are the sweet spots in these type of deals? Property owners still paying 15 cents, north of 15 cents for their electricity in the daytime, and 7 days a week is better as well than 5 days a week, because our customers are going to agree to buy all the energy from the system. So your role is going to be understand the sweet spot, build the relationship and trust with the customer, as we all know, as far as consulting goes, that's the key. Gather the data, get it back to the concierge desk. When I say data, comes off the bill and from your discussion with the customer, get the data back to us so that we can do a full-on analysis to come back with a final proposal. Your role then is to take the proposal back to the customer, discuss it with them and close the deal. That is not that hard if you prospect properly. What that means is not visiting customers that are still paying 6 cents. or 8 cents for their electricity. Find the guys out there that are still paying the 15s and the 20s, and you know there's people paying a lot more than that right up north. And that, for those customers, is a very, very strong proposition. So, we're going to need to analyse the electricity bill. In summary, one of the key things is to understand the average daytime spent cost of energy, because if you don't know that, you're not going to know whether there's a proposition here. The beauty is this calculator will throw out all the numbers as well for you guys. Again, to analyse whether there's a deal there or not. Quick overview of process. You'll be armed with as much information from the desk as you can before you see the customer. When you go and see the customer, we're going to need the bill to come back after that. So the first is you're going to attend the meeting. Relationship with the customer. You're going to come back with the latest bills. We're going to take those bills and maybe ask some more questions. You might need to go back and ask a couple more questions. Hopefully not, but if you do, you do. We're there to help you with that type of stuff. When these bills come back in, we are going to provide, this is our role, the full proposal. So we'll do a full design. Bills, there's one other thing here called interval data. Interval data. If we can get 1 year of data from their customers, the proposal is going to be as good as it can be, as detailed as it can be. If interval data is available, you need them to fill out an authority to get that information from the network. We'll provide you with those forms. If you get the bills and the authority to get that interval data, then what we will do is we'll do the whiz-bang proposal. So we'll do the proposal, we may come back and ask a few more questions, and then what happens then is you take the proposal into the customer to close the deal. Now if we've got the right information early in the process, if we've got a year of bills and or got the interval data, you've built a good relationship and prospected well, and there's a proposition like this one here, 13 cents versus 25 cents, strong proposition, then the close rate is going to be pretty high. This close is going to be easier. If you're running in with 21 cents versus 25 cents and you don't have a good relationship with the customer and you haven't built trust with them, well, this closure rate is not going to be at 50-50. We reckon we can achieve 50-50 closure rates with this product if the prospecting is done well. Let's do a summary of the must-haves. What we need from the customer to be able to close up a deal. I mentioned before the bills. Now they would have been gathered early in the process. We want the most up-to-date bills. And we have a form which is a letter of authority so we can go and get the interval data from the network. We get that form signed as well. We also have a finance, a PPA application form. Now that form is pretty simple stuff. It has a privacy attached to it so that we can go and do the checks that we need to do to get the funding set. Big one, financials. At some stage, we're going to need to see these companies' financials. The earlier you can get this information coming across, the better. The last thing we want to do is get all excited about a deal, look at the financials a week or two down the track, and they're losing money. It's also a great early close financials. If you get a customer that's comfortable to give their draft management accounts, for example, early in the process, you're pretty far down the sales process, frankly. If you can't get that from them, need to be asking yourself where you are in the process.
Well, we've been talking about our solar power purchase agreements with Juice Capital. Jay Howard is the creator, founder and CEO. And we would just like to ask a few questions about the Juice PPAs. So, Jay, I'm interested, what happens to the arrangement with our current energy provider? Do you replace the energy company I currently get a bill from?
We actually don't. So your customers still have the choice of which dirty electricity provider they would like to be with. Look, we can help in some instances with some guidance around that, but at the end of the day, they're going to receive two bills. They're going to receive a bill for their renewable energy, solar energy from Juice Capital, and they're also going to receive a bill from their current provider.
And one question we get all the time, is a deposit necessary for this process?
Look, a deposit isn't necessary. One of the whole pitches is that they don't have to put their hand in, customers don't have to put their hand in their pocket at all. Look, sometimes you might like to take a deposit for, if you can, just for that commitment, that the customer is genuinely committed. But at the end of the day, no, we don't require a deposit.
And what is the difference between a power purchase agreement and other financing options?
Gee, I mean, there are a number of other typical financing options out there, like a rental or a chattel mortgage, typical finance products. No matter which typical one of these traditional finance products you go with, it is not going to be off balance sheet. The accounting standards are on the move. It's official that these rental agreements with a buyout are not going to be able to be treated off balance sheet. Our finance proposition, we can even get away from the finance word, they're just buying electricity. It is an absolute pure operating lease. There's no arguments. It is an off balance sheet treatment, and obviously the expenses are treated in the P&L as an expense, as you would with your normal electricity.
Now, if we lease our commercial building or business premises, can we still get a solar system under this arrangement?
Yeah, absolutely. And if we ignored the tenant market, we would be ignoring a very big market. The fact of the matter is we're acquiring and owning a system that, whether it's tenanted or whether it's a property owner-occupier, that system's going to be there for a long time. So we're comfortable to look at it as project risk. We do need to get permission from the landlord, obviously. So we have a process for that. It's like a waiver document, because if something, it is their property, so they need to be across it. They're not getting the benefits of it, but their tenant are getting the benefits of the cheaper electricity. That's a long answer to a short question. The answer is yes, we can do tenanted properties.
Now, who is responsible for the operational costs and maintenance costs of my solar system?
Look, again, that's one of the key benefits. So the risk of ownership falls entirely with us. Look, we're going to need to upgrade equipment during the term. We need to make sure the inverters are working. Everything needs to be working so that it's up and running and generating electricity the whole time. It's our risk. We cover all those costs. We insure the system as well as the owner.
And how do I know if my site is suitable for a solar PPA?
Well, we're going to be able to tell you pretty quickly by taking a look at your roof and analysing your electricity bills. It's not going to be suitable for absolutely everybody. I think we mentioned earlier that if you've got really low electricity prices, you're a really large user and you're paying 6 or 8 cents for your energy, we're going to find that hard to compete with. So we'll be able to get back pretty soon, look at the roof, understand if there's trees around and much shading. We're going to come back and say, look, there is a proposition here or not. But it's not suitable for every site and not suitable for every customer.
Final question. Is free solar systems sound too good to be true? Why has free solar systems and solar power purchase agreements arrived in the Australian marketplace now?
So that's a really good question, because what we saw happen in America is the market boomed with the whole PPA stuff, and frankly the ability to deliver the PPAs in Australia as per these longer term agreements hasn't been available. The financing, the funding is now available, and the market's more mature. So it's taken a while for the market to actually get comfortable with signing up for a slightly longer term, but to be able to have the right funding to be able to create these type of products. And that's what Juice Capital's done. We've been able to source through investors and our own, the right capital to be able to structure these type of deals. It's good news for the market. It's good news for solar companies, because they've now got this quite unique product that can help them take solar into the marketplace. Okay guys, just to finish off, we are terribly excited about the potential for this product. This product is aiding in the growth of the actual marketplace. As we showed before, we're absolutely in at the right time. The market is booming. So we've got a booming marketplace with a no-brainer product, and it's now time to just get out there and take that product to the right customers. Here at Juice Capital, we have everything you need to go and take that to the marketplace. We've got the funding, we've got the product. We've got all the EPC, the engineering, procurement, and construct capability, and the best equipment to boot. So we're ready and waiting. We're building some fantastic teams, and we really look forward to you guys getting out there, prospecting strong, prospecting the right customers, and taking this product out in the marketplace, and being a part of this enormous growth period that we're about to experience over the next 2 to 5 years.